All right. I think we figured it out. Says we are live. Bad connection at the hotel. Can you hear me? I see some comments rolling in. Thumbs up. Can you hear me? I see a lot of people in here. All right, good. Thank you, Wichita Clem. Yeah, it's first time doing this, so give me a minute to kind of sort through. A lot of comments already coming in. Tiger, definitely have seen you a lot in the comments. And Valerie, hello, how are you? Ryan, another YouTuber there, he's got his own channel. Hello, Brian, Susan, good to see you again. All right, a lot of comments coming in, so let me get through the beginning of this. I got some things I'll talk about with my trip. Andy, hello. William Free, good to see you. Kurt, hey man, how's trivia going? Hopefully, I know he said he's coming in from trivia. Betty, how's it going? Laura, and yeah, Cody. Oh my gosh, Cody's in here. The director of ops from Nebraska. All right, so good to go. So where am I? Who knows where I'm at? Nobody knows where I'm at. I've been in 24 states in the past month or so, and I'm currently, though, I'm almost home. I'm in Wichita. No, I'm in. I'll be in Wichita tomorrow. I'm in Kansas City, somewhere in the Kansas City vicinity, and so yeah, so I'm in a hotel somewhere in Kansas City. So I feel that's good enough. So yeah, once again, first time doing this, so give me just a minute to get my bearings. A lot of comments there. Good to see Arlen from the Everglades. Nice to see you. Aztec, hello, how are you? Disastrous effect. Okay, hopefully this is not a disastrous live stream. Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate that. Daddy-O Dude, I like it. The Dude, Big Lebowski. Brian, good to see you. Camping Man 21, hello. Eric French. Ashley, hello. Good to see you there. Clint, man, lots of familiar names and faces. Yeah, Kurt. Kurt said, nice shirt. This is a gift from Kurt. If you watch the videos, you know who Kurt is. There's Debbie. My sister-in-law is in the house. Nice. Let's see. Bradley, hello. Slim. Keith Whitman, how you doing, dude? Did not get barbecue. I actually got a salad, so pretty boring. Thank you. I guess disastrous effect is in Kansas City. Hey, Colton, there's my nephew. He's in there now, too. All right, let's see. I think we're kind of sorting through them here. So let me get through the initial start of this. Deborah, good to see you. Very frequent commenter on YouTube, so good to see you here. Alan from California, how are you doing? Thank you, Linda. Eric, I don't have a beer, but I got some water right here. So it's the end of a long trip, so you have a beverage and I'll have some water. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate the comment. Positively Broad Street from Greenville, North Carolina. That's awesome. Thank you. I was just in the east, so not North Carolina, but out that way. So that was cool. Native New Yorker, I appreciate your comment. Very nice. Actually, did do a video in New York. Haven't released it, but I filmed in New York, so I'll have something there. Stephen and Tracy from Arkansas, thank you for popping in. Jerry Hampshire, appreciate the nice comment. And yeah, so awesome. A lot of people commenting, so that's great. I thought maybe there would be no one here. I'd be by myself, maybe Kurt, and we'd be talking back and forth. So if you have some questions about anything, feel free to ask some questions. The way that you can see the chat and I can see the chat, so you can see how there's like a whole bunch of people commenting. So I'll try my best to keep up if there's questions. So if you got questions, feel free to answer them or to ask them and I'll answer them. So I was going to give you a couple stats from my trip. If you didn't know, I've been on this long summer road trip, and I was in Oregon for a couple weeks for track and field before I left. And then today is day 35 of a road trip that I've been on that went through 24 states. And tomorrow will be day 36, and I'll be getting back home. And right now, I've driven 6,703 miles. So I will be just shy of 7,000 miles by the time I get to Wichita. This is my final hotel, and I have spent $3,017 on hotels. Now, for 36 days, do the math, that's not too bad. I had 5 free nights that I stayed with friends or family, so that was helpful. And my gas cost $969. So, and I'll have one more probably fill up tomorrow. So it's going to be about $1,000. So between hotel and gas, 7,000 miles, about $4,000 on this trip. And I have filmed 31 videos that I've made in terms of like gone out and filmed them. And I've released 9 of them actually already. So I'm finishing up, and then I get back to Wichita tomorrow. And then on Wednesday, I'm going to go to Oregon again for the USA Track and Field Championships. It's a national championship. We have 3 athletes that have qualified. I got a couple kids that are running. So that'll be on television Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So if you're interested in track and field, look for some Wichita State Shockers. So there you go. All right, that's my intro. I'm going to scroll back up here and see if I have any questions. I really appreciate everybody commenting already. That's awesome. Thank you. Even if you just checked in and are saying hi and peacing out, no problem. I appreciate that. Hello. Let's got Northern Idaho. That's Slammer, and DeKalb, Illinois from Leadfoot. Hopefully you haven't got any speeding tickets. Papa Berry, correct. Yes. Looks like I'm not the only one here. Okay. Question from Susan. Have you ever traveled via ocean liner? And if so, where? Do you have any tips for ocean voyages? I've been on a couple cruises, but is that what you mean by ocean liner? A couple cruise? But I did one cruise as a kid with family and went to the Bahamas, and then I went one as an adult to like the Caribbean. It wasn't my favorite thing going on a cruise. The problem for me was when you got to the destination, you'd have like 8 hours, and they would have some activities you could do. And I didn't really enjoy those activities because I wanted to go do something kind of random or more, what would you say, off the beaten path, and they didn't really have stuff like that. So if you like the stuff on the boat, if you like, they have awesome food, they got shows and stuff like that, that was cool. But I've heard people that have taken more like the Alaskan cruises that have said a lot of really good things because it's so scenic up that way. So even if you're on the cruise, then you're seeing things that are really beautiful. So not a huge cruiser, but I don't know if that answered your question. Okay. Can you... Beaver, Oklahoma. This is from JT Birdie. Can you venture out to Forgan and or Beaver? So Beaver, yes. So that's a plan. I think you're talking about the Panhandle. And I did videos about, so there's 3 counties in the Panhandle of Oklahoma, and that's like no man's land, the old no man's land back in the day where there was no law. And I did videos on the 2 furthest western counties. And I think Beaver is the other one, if that's what you're asking about. And yes, that's on my to-do list. And now that I'm back in the area, sometime this fall, I'm hoping to get out there. So I have that. Certainly that's on my to-do list. I will be back to that area. That'll finish up like the whole no man's land thing. So, all right. Why do you call it a death go round? Wear flyers. The death go round, I didn't start that, but it's just a thing where like people would get injured on those merry-go-rounds that would go so fast. And it just kind of got the name Death Go Round, and it has stuck on the channel. So it just is made more, it's not politically correct at all, but it seems to, I think people understand it's for fun. So yes, we love our Death Go Rounds. I did not see very many Death Go Rounds on my trip. I was very disappointed. Like they didn't see any in Canada, didn't see any like in the Northeast. I saw one in like Wisconsin or Minnesota recently, and I go, yes, I got one. So maybe it was Michigan. I can't remember, but yeah. So not too many Death Go Rounds in my 7,000 miles. Okay, from Alan Rogers, do you have any plans for the Route 66 100th anniversary next year? I don't. I know that a lot of people, if you're not aware, this is coming up is the 100th year of Route 66. It started in 19, I guess 25 or 26, and 26, I think. And so a lot of people are doing trips on it and planning trips. And I think it's awesome because it's given attention to a lot of places. I've talked to a lot of people that are doing stuff there. I'm sure, I don't live that far from Route 66. Wichita is like a couple hours from the corner of Kansas. So I'm sure I will be on some Route 66 areas this year. I don't plan to do like a Route 66 road trip. But I'm sure I will do some Route 66 videos at some point this year. Let's see here. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Mark. Valerie asked, do I use rental cars in my videos? So for a long time, I did. So a lot of comments coming here. So for a long time, I rented cars because my car was not great for back roads. And so I would make sure I rented some sort of an SUV. So I did that for I've done the channel for 5 years. So I did that for like 4 years. And then last year I bought a vehicle. So I bought a vehicle that could, do back roads really well. So I bought a Jeep Grand Cherokee, a used one, and I took it on this trip. Like I said, I put 7,000 miles on it, and it's been great. It's been an awesome vehicle. And so, yeah, but if I was to like fly somewhere, maybe if I was to fly to California to do something, I'd definitely get a rental vehicle. But it's been good to not, save the money a little bit from, I was renting a lot of vehicles and it was costing a lot of money. So, CK said, how do you like the Gaslight Motel? So if you watched my video from the second US 50 Illinois video, the Gaslight Motel was kind of a joke because it was only $60 and I showed it and it wasn't exactly the nicest looking hotel, but I slept well. I slept good, and that was important. So I'll give it a positive review, even though it was, there were a few things that could have been a little better, but I am very low maintenance. I just need like a clean place. And one of the big things is like water pressure in the shower. And if you gotta it's clean, water pressure, I'm good. I'll bring my own towels. I'm good to go. So I'm fine with it. Might not be for everybody though. Oh, Arlen, how many miles is on your car now? So I bought the car with I think I had 27,000 miles on it, and I bought it less than a year ago, and it's at about 50,000 miles now. So I put a few miles on it. This trip obviously was a lot. Okay. All right, Tiger, he was getting tired of listening to things. He makes funny comments a lot. Okay, JT Birdie, Turpin or Beaver, Oklahoma. Like I mentioned that already. We'll be there. I can't remember. I thought I went to Turpin in one of the videos. But yeah, Mark. Yeah, I like being busy, Mark. It's definitely that's if I get bored without doing anything. And I was talking to somebody that once I get back from Oregon, like next weekend, and I'll be in Wichita for extended period of time. If I'm there probably 2 weeks, I'll be ready to go on another trip. So nothing like I'm doing now, but it'll be fun. Yeah, Vincennes. So CK said, thanks for showing Vincennes. That was an awesome little city. I'd never been there before. So much history. I didn't know about a lot of the history. So if you're ever in that area, go down to Vincennes, Indiana. It's great. John, good name. Do you enjoy traveling alone? And I like going with friends, and I like traveling with people. And I saw friends along the way here. And but the thing is, with YouTube, and if anybody else here does YouTube, the filming of YouTube is not like a traditional way to travel. So you're driving, and there's something you want to take a video of, and you might end up going around it 3 times or stopping and getting out. And it's like the sun is over here, so I need to make sure I try to drive from this direction. And if you're a passenger, it wouldn't be very fun to ride along. So I do that for the sake of, if a friend wanted to go, I would say, okay, well, let's try to do something that wouldn't be so, I don't know, non-traditional. So like when I was in Ohio, I took my brother and my nephew and we did a dead mall video at Eastgate Mall. And so that was fun because we just basically walked around and they, let me walk in front of them with my phone taking videos. So that was more kind of just, hey, let's go check this out and involve them a little bit. But most of the time riding along with me would not be very fun. And uh, I edit out edit out 80% of the things I film. But I do. I mean, I like traveling by myself, but I got a lot of friends that it would be fun to go do stuff with, and every once in a while, I'll have them in a video. Holly said, "Hope you found some good food." I did. I ate a lot of fish and chips when I was in the Northeast, so that was really good. It's hard when you're traveling like all day or filming all day. You get to the end of the day and you're less likely to want to like go out to eat because you're kind of tired. So I'll do a lot of to go stuff. Like I did that. I ordered a to go from Chili's across the street. So I probably don't do. And people ask me about like doing food stuff, like talking about the food places, but I'm not. It's not. I don't do crazy stuff like go to fancy restaurants and stuff all the time. It's just, oh, what I got here, I'll eat this and move on and get to bed. So I did have some good food though. All right, Wonko, great name. Since I work overnights, I just got up. Oh, well, thank you for waking up. That's awesome. Okay, Ryan, what do you prefer to use for your YouTube thumbnails? So I use Photoshop, and it's pretty basic. I find a good picture, and then I have some text, and I send it to my buddy Kurt. I'll send him 2 or 3 different pictures, and he'll tell me which one he likes the best. But just Photoshop. Now, when Kurt does a video, his thumbnails are so much better than mine. You can see how different they are. So I'm not sure. He may, if he's in here, I know he's playing trivia right now with his wife out somewhere. So if he sees this, he might comment about what he uses for thumbnails. But yeah, I've not used Canva, but I've heard it's good. Bradley talking about the cruises. Yeah, John, the US 50 through Colorado and Utah is awesome. So it was a lot of fun. And a couple people asked me previously about US 50 heading east compared to US 50 heading west. And I was really, I guess you could say, cautiously optimistic about the eastern part because the western part is so dramatic. It's so wide open, and you can go 100 miles without a gas station. And that's the kind of stuff I really, really love. And I can say that I was pleasantly surprised heading east. There were certainly places like Washington, D.C., where it's just packed and traffic is bad. And so that was, other than a few of those places, there were some incredibly beautiful places. I'm editing the Indiana stuff now, and it was way more scenic in Indiana. And West Virginia is twists and turns the whole way. And it was fun to go through DC and saw one of our former athletes. I filmed a really interesting dead mall video in Washington, D.C. that's underground. So holding on to that one for a while. So we'll see how that goes. But then, yeah, and got to the coast and hung out, had a fun evening at Ocean City, Maryland, rode the Ferris wheel with father and his little girl. If you're in the member videos, I had told a funny story about that. So yeah, it was a lot of fun doing the US 50 stuff. Okay, Susan, ocean liner, it's like New York to, okay. So yeah, I don't know about the ocean liner. So if anybody knows about ocean liners, can give Susan some info about if that's something that would be cool. But I think I know what you're talking about, but I have not done that. Disastrous effect. Any plans for Desert Southwest? I would love to. I love that part of the country. I love that area. So yes, I want to do more stuff in Arizona, more stuff in New Mexico, even like parts of California. Yeah, so I'd really, really love to go back down there. Okay, Mad Mag, where was your favorite stop? Fellow Kansan from Ottawa. It's a good question. Where was my favorite stop? I would say, let's get. There are a lot of there are way more questions than I thought, so I'm trying my best to sort through these. So I apologize if you asked them a while ago. Where's your favorite stop? Where's my favorite stop? I'll say my least favorite stop first was crossing the border into Canada, and I crossed the border at the very top of Maine. So I have my certificate. This certifies that on July 18th, John Wise came to Madawaska, Maine, the most northeastern town in the nation. I have my certificate. So, but crossing into Canada was difficult. They went through every single thing. In fact, I have a bag that has postcards in it, and it's all jacked up. They went through like the postcard bag, and it was crazy. So, anyways, that was my least favorite part. But my most favorite, what was really, really great was the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. And I'd never been there before, and I really, really enjoyed it. Upper Peninsula of Michigan has 29% of the land area of Michigan. So 29% of Michigan is the Upper Peninsula, but only 3% of the population. So that's definitely what I'm looking for. And then I found this cool lighthouse way out in waves from, I can't remember what Great Lake it is, but crashing, and walked out to the lighthouse, and it'll be a really fun ending to that video. But yeah, I'd say maybe the Michigan Upper Peninsula was really good. But man, there were so many places. Like I said, I made 31 videos in 24 states, and I don't know. It's really hard at this moment to take it all in to say which one was my favorite. But it was a really fun trip. Okay, Wonko, having lived in Alaska, really love the back roads of Alaska. Yeah, so I do. So that was the Alaska videos were so much fun to make last year. The New England ones, I think I got some pretty good backroad stuff up there. So New York it's kind of a backroads one, and I tried to be different because New York, you just think of New York City. And then I did some stuff in Vermont and Maine that I think will be cool. So hopefully you'll enjoy those. Wichita Clem, pretty sure we need a Death Go Round episode. I've talked about trying to take all the Death Go Rounds and put them in one video. We talked about like a compilation video of that. The thing is, I don't know which videos have Death Go Rounds. There's so many now that it would take a long time to go back through. I need to keep track of them. Faith, hello. How are you? Faith Gibbs. Would love to see you visit Coates. Where's Coates? Not sure where Coates is. Blah, blah, blah. Coach, you have a Zelle account or Cash App? If so, so Mark, I have Venmo, but you don't need to send any money. No, it's okay. We have the memberships, and people can, put money on the videos and all that kind of stuff. So don't worry about it. But I really appreciate it. There's member. If you want to become a member, you can definitely. I know some people don't like doing that kind of stuff because of their credit card. But yeah, don't worry about it. I just appreciate you watching and commenting. No problem. Jeff inspired you to drive Indiana 50 through Indiana, or inspired us to drive Highway 50 through Indiana last year. It's great to see you drive. Yeah, I really loved the Indiana 50. And if you watch the video from Sunday, that state park that I found with the Pioneer Village was totally just random and had no idea it was there. One of those dumb luck kind of things that you happen to. It happens sometimes. Slammer said, "What is your favorite wild animal encounter story from the road?" So I was hoping to see, like, I drove all the way up into Quebec, like way up there, and every 5 miles there was moose signs, and then there were some bear signs. I never saw a single moose. I never saw a single bear, but and I was kind of like disappointed, and man, I want to see something like wild. A lot of deer. So deer almost everywhere I went. But what I did see in Quebec, way up there, I saw a couple wolves, and that was I'd not seen wolves before, and I didn't get them on video. I'm standing there looking at them, and I'm like, "Hey, awesome!" And then they ran off, and I didn't film them. So I promise it happened. Bill, I know Bill. He's a member. Hello from Norman, Oklahoma. Thank you very much. Eric says, former United States Marine. Okay, awesome. Really appreciate your service. Let's see. Ashley fell off a death go round in the first grade in a mud puddle. Yeah. Well, you have a death go round scar. I think we all do. I think we all have some. Do a Saline County video. I can show you rather unique death go round. Oh, nice. Saline County. Now, is that in Kansas, Saline County? Because you go to these states and you realize there are the same named counties throughout the country. So I know there's one in Kansas. John, hello from Rhode Island. I didn't go to Rhode Island on this trip, but I tried to stay out of the populated part of New England. So I was more kind of went around that area, but I've been through Rhode Island. Yes. Okay, Debbie, WEV and fireworks. Maybe we'll fly a drone right through the fireworks. Papa Bear, thank you for the compliment on the Greeley, Comanche, and Greenwood counties. I love those videos, and I'm going to do more of that. There's a lot of Kansas counties way out in the west that are rural and unpopulated, and I can't wait to get out there. And I'm excited to go out and check out more of those counties, and really want to get up to the northwest corner because I haven't done anything up there. Any funny stories about getting pulled over for a traffic stop? LB in the house. No, I don't have any funny stories. They're not very funny when I got pulled over. Unfortunately, I've not been pulled over very often in a long time. I did have a college friend that I was riding shotgun with, and he told the cop that he was about number 2, and he had to. That's why he's driving so fast to get home, and the cop let him go. So that's funny, but it wasn't me. Fish Lake Project's favorite bar in Wichita. Well, it's got to be the Stop. So if you know about me, that's where I would be right now if I was in Wichita. Oh, Valley, do you believe in ghosts? The best way I can say is I don't have a opinion because I don't not, but I've never experienced anything. If that's, I'm very open-minded. I've gone to plenty of places that, are haunted they're quote haunted. And, but yeah, I haven't experienced anything, but there's a lot of things that I've not experienced that may be real. So that's a bad answer. So I apologize, but okay. From Trace, would you consider doing a road trip to explore the small towns along US 75 highway? The answer is absolutely. I haven't planned anything for like that one. There are so many great highways. So I've done 50 and Route 66 and a few things like that. And but there are so many 2-lane roads that were built in the 1920s, kind of like Route 66, all across the country. And when people ask me like, hey, do you think you'll ever run out of ideas for videos? And I go, absolutely not, because there's like so many of those roads to explore, and they all connected little towns back in the day. And so I don't know much about 75, but I would absolutely love to go there and do that. But that's the same answer for any of them. Route 62 goes through Russellville, Ohio, where my brother lives. And that goes from Mexico to Canada. And that would be a cool trip. So there's a lot of awesome road trips out there. I would love to do that. Are you considering any more trips to Canada? That's William. Not anytime soon. Sorry, let me scroll back up. There are so many questions. I can't believe that y'all are awesome. You guys are so awesome. I will do my best to sort through these as quick as I can. But also I want to make sure I answer all of them. So, like I said, to Canada, I did this trip, and that was almost like a scouting expedition to figure out, like, do I want to do more stuff up there? And Quebec was cool. I got some really good stuff from Quebec. And then I got through Ontario, and what I found was that in Canada, they have a short period of time to do construction on the roads. And in Ontario, the road I was going that I was trying to make a video about had construction in every single town. And it got so frustrating, I ended up just not making a video about Ontario. And so I need to think about that. But I think I might be more interested in like the western parts of Canada. So the towns are different there, not bad or anything like that. They're just different than the United States. And the definition of a town and like the boundaries of a town are just different. Like you go like in Kansas where I'm from, if there's a town, you know where it's at, you know where the little downtown is, and it has a little, city limits area. And in Canada and also in like the Northeast, I got to some places where a town has like it's almost like a township. So it's like a big area of land, and it was confusing. I didn't know about that. So now I have a little better idea that I think I could figure some things out. When I do this video about Vermont, you'll see I was struggling to figure out like where the town was, and but I ended up figuring out by the end of the video. So, but I love to go to Canada. It was awesome. Canada's beautiful, but it's not too close to Wichita, Kansas, so it takes a little bit of planning. Papa Bear from Indiana, thank you. Tiger, what places did you visit that stand out in your mind as being way different than you expected? Way different than I expected. Well, Delaware was one. I don't know if anybody watched the video from Delaware. The small towns, kind of on the western side of the state, not on the beach, ocean side, but they were awesome. Old towns and beautiful and clean. Delaware was probably the most surprising one, and that video, I just literally that morning decided, well, I'm just going to do this little small town downtown and fly up the, I think it was Highway 13. So Delaware, I think for me, gets the most kind of like stands out as being way different than I expected for sure. Oh, let's see. If you were a high school state champion, is it true you were a high school state? Yes. I was 400-meter state champion in 1992, many pounds ago. Okay, Ryan. So yeah, reading Ryan. If you see his comments there, he does a YouTube channel. He does a lot of fishing and outdoor videos, and so he can understand kind of what I'm talking about for sure. Mark, thanks, Mark, for the really nice comments. You really are awesome. Rocks the band, yes. And I know that's Todd there. And so thanks for hopping in, Todd. I know you had some stuff going on this evening. He messaged me earlier. So besides Centralia in Pennsylvania, so I was in Pennsylvania, but that's the only thing I did in Pennsylvania. And it was more of a matter of timing to try to get through to the next place. But I will say I'm working on that video for Thursday. So Centralia, Pennsylvania, if I get it done, will be coming out on Thursday. It's one of the most famous ghost towns in the United States. It's kind of incredible, and it was awesome. So part of that, I went to Ashland, which is it's all mining areas, and I took a ride into a mine on one of the tours there. So that was cool. But yeah, only one video from Pennsylvania. I definitely want to go back and do more. Bradley, welcome to producer. Wow, that's awesome. So I guess you signed up while we were doing this. I guess you can become a member during the chat. That's great. Thank you, Bradley, very much. LS says, are you coming to Colorado? Absolutely. Don't know when. I want to do the 10 smallest towns of Colorado. And I was going to do it this summer, but decided to go east instead of west. And so the 10 smallest towns of Colorado is on my to-do list, but they're pretty spread out, and I need several days. And once I get going here into the fall with school starting, because I coach track, if you guys don't know, it gets a little tougher to get that many days away. But I'm hoping in the October time to go to Colorado. Llama, absolutely. Fish Lake, I have a feeling Fish Lake might be up in the Minnesota area, but yeah. Ryan, I enjoyed your Pioneer Village in Minden. Yeah, Pioneer Village was awesome. So many great little museums. That's not a little museum, but that's awesome. Mike D asked, do you ever camp when traveling? I'm not a camper. I've done that a few times, but not like, I'm just not a camper. I want a hotel, nice shower, bed. So I guess I'm a little bit high maintenance when it comes to that. But okay, Wonko. Any funnies about police interaction while stop somewhere to film? No, the only other, I have another border crossing story that happened in Mexico, and I actually documented it. I did the video along the border wall, and maybe it's Texas. Yeah, it was Texas. And the Mexican people, the Mexican border patrol, really gave me a hard time. We didn't speak the same language, and it was like a tiny little crossing, and then when I came back through, and the American border guard asked how it was going over the other way, and I told him, and he just shook his head. It was like he was frustrated with those guys, but it's funny in hindsight, not at the time when there's one lane and I'm holding up all this traffic and all these people are honking at me. But it'd been funny to see, I guess. But no, not too many funny interactions. I don't film like the police officers if I got pulled over. So, Charles, do you think you might do a video on subtropolis? I don't know about subtropolis. You might have to tell me about that. Sandhill, yeah. Bradley says Sandhills, Nebraska. That I love that area. I was up there when I did the 10 smallest towns of Nebraska video a couple years ago. I was hoping to do some Nebraska stuff on this trip, but I just ran out of time. So, Tom Creamer, eastern part of Illinois. I did the 10 smallest towns of Illinois video. I don't know if you watched that. And then the US 50 was in like southeastern Illinois. That's all I've done. It's just a little bit, to get there from Kansas is a little bit of a trip. So I haven't done too much over there. John asked about Pioneer Village, and when I went there, it was awesome. I'm guessing you're talking about Nebraska, but that was a couple years ago. Ben says, did you do other ruins in other countries, like Maya ruins in South America? That stuff's really interesting to me. I did a ton of international travel. Before I started YouTube, I did a ton of international travel. And I was like passionate about it, but I wasn't filming anything. I was just going and seeing stuff. And then when YouTube happened, I just, started doing stuff here. And what I did learn is that when I go somewhere way different, like I went to Alaska, which isn't a different country, but it feels like a different country, that not a lot of people are interested. So there's a kind of a risk reward of, will you make some money on making the videos versus how much it costs to go there. So I did a couple of videos about South America that I had filmed before I started YouTube channel. I had actually just filmed it kind of maybe in the back of my head, wondering if I might want to do this. So I think I have 3 videos about South America, but they were more the touristy places. Easter Island was certainly the coolest place I went. And then I went to like Machu Picchu and the Bolivian salt flats and did videos about them, but not to the ruins. But that would be awesome. That would be such a great experience. But that would take, I would need to be at more subscribers than I have now. Yeah, a couple people mentioned about the Michigan Upper Peninsula. It was really great. So I think maybe they don't want people to know how awesome it is. Ashley's talking about crossing the border into Canada and Montana was easier. Good idea. And I do plan, if I go to Canada, that I would go up that way. I thought even next summer I might go like up north and then to Canada and then, back that way. So that's good to know. Let's see. Do you visit famous grave sites? That's Jason, he's got a YouTube channel too. Historically Marked, I believe is the name of his channel. I don't usually do videos about historic or famous grave sites, but I might stumble across them. And I do go to lots of grave sites, cemeteries, and I'm fascinated by the small ones way out in the rural areas. But I don't usually make a point to go I'm going out to this specific place for a grave site. I've gone to a couple, but not too often. But I know Jason has done that, and he's got some really cool videos on his channel. Historically Marked. Go follow, like, and subscribe. Yeah, Ryan's talking about Mackinac Island. I've been up there. That's cool. Back when I lived in Ohio. So Subtropolis in Kansas City is a warehouse complex by the river. Okay. Yeah, I don't know much about it, but it sounds kind of interesting. Mark says, I like to show churches and cemeteries or travels. I'm wondering how many cemeteries have haunted stories. Yeah, I don't look up stuff like that too often unless it's October and I'm getting ready to do a haunted video like I did in Beaumont, Kansas last year. Or maybe like Thea Rosa's Bridge. Okay, I just hit a button and it scrolled to the bottom of the questions. Lots of questions. And if I missed one, I apologize if I passed it, but there are a lot of questions. It's so awesome. Okay. Do you ever eastern part of Illinois? Yeah, I mentioned that. I would like to go back in that area more for sure. Illinois, Indiana. I have not. So William asked about the Hall of Fame and Baseball Hall of Fame. I have not been to the Cooperstown. Would like to. I went to college near the NFL Hall of Fame in Canton, so I went there. Okay. Thank you from Flowing Colors by Maria about the videos in Oregon, and I'm going back to Oregon next week. I'm not going to do any videos in Oregon though. I'm going to take a break from filming for a minute, but Oregon's awesome. And I do. Oh, by the way, I have 2 videos from Oregon that I filmed before I went on this trip that I haven't released yet, and I think they're going to be awesome. So, Flowing Colors by Maria from Oregon. Just know there's 2 more pretty lengthy videos from Oregon that'll be coming out at some point. I don't know when. Thank you, Country Creek Clips. Debbie, thank you, thank you. Eric French, Washington State Park, and look at the hieroglyphics. Okay, Washington State Park, in the state of Washington, I'm guessing. Would that be? You go to every state has a Washington, like a Washington Park. Papa Bear, yeah, I agree. The northwest counties of Kansas really want to go check that out. Ashley she's ready if she gets pulled over. If you're following along the comments, you can kind of see where this is unusual for me. I've never done this. So hopefully I'm answering these questions for y'all. Have you ever, from Mike from Illinois, have you been to Ole's Big Game Steakhouse and Lounge in Nebraska? I'm pretty sure I ate there when I did the Oregon Trail. Yes, I've been there. One of the few places that I made a point to stop at. So I remember going in and it had a whole bunch of interesting decor. Mike might confirm that for me, but okay. Eric's talking about Missouri. Go to Washington State. Okay, Washington State Park in Missouri. Okay, I'm gonna write that down, and I'll definitely keep that in mind. Thank you. Like to see go to Council Grove and Burlingame. Council Grove's awesome. I've been there a lot of times. That's in Kansas, by the way. If you're not from Kansas, Council Grove, Kansas is really historic, awesome town. It's in one of my small town downtown videos about Kansas. Is where I just do the main street, but it's got so much history. It certainly deserves a full length video. I definitely want to keep that in mind. Terry asked, what kind of drone do I use? It's a DJI Mavic Pro 2. I got it sitting right here. This is what it looks like folded up. You do this, and it flies up in the air. So that's it. I've had this drone, I think about 4 years, and it's an incredible drone. I stuck it in a river in Missouri one time. A couple of days later, it flew again. So kind of incredible. I hit on this trip. I had a little accident with it. I was trying to fly it through a covered bridge, and for whatever reason, it has sensors, and I don't know what happened to it, but I went into the side of the covered bridge, but it's still flying. I had to change the wing propellers. I had some extra propellers, but yeah, DJI Mavic Pro 2. Thank you, Mike. John S. talking about US 62. Thank you, Mark, for sharing my videos. He likes my sunglasses. A lot of comments about my sunglasses. They're I get the cheapest ones I can find at Target, man. There you go. Yeah, it's great. Maybe I get a sponsorship. John says, you do a video series. I do Kansas highways. Yeah, those are awesome. It's more about how much time I have, but I do love doing that kind of stuff. And I do have plans to do that. One of the ones I want to do is Route 77 through Kansas. It goes down in Oklahoma too. So it's a really cool area that goes through the Flint Hills. But yeah, those ones you mentioned are good too. Thank you, Standard Traveler. Since Peru. Oh my goodness, you've been watching since Peru. That was like one of the first 5 videos I put out. Awesome. Papa Bear asked, did I run through a lot of potholes in Indiana? Hoosiers joked that the construction berries are the national state bird. I think I've heard other states mention that too. I don't remember a lot of potholes in Indiana. Maybe US 50 was pretty good, but that's where I was the whole time, was US 50. Leadfoot talks about Saskatchewan, Canada. I'd definitely love to go up to that area for sure. Thank you, Betty, about the Delaware comment. And MJ, yeah, a lot of people like the Delaware video. Mark talking about watching on Sunday mornings. I get people that make the comment that they wake up on Sunday to watch the videos, and I appreciate that. I try to put extra effort into those videos on Sunday, trying to make them longer. And so that this whole US 50 series is Sunday, every Sunday. So hopefully you like those, because it's going to be a couple months of US 50 till we get out to the East Coast. Empress, hello. She's a common commenter on YouTube. Appreciate it. Okay. Jerry asked about motorcycle touring. I'm not a motorcycle guy. My whole family was motorcycle people, and I was always a 4 wheels kind of person. But I see a lot of people out there on motorcycles where I go. I'm sure it's awesome, but I'm not a motorcycle guy. I think I've gone I'm beyond those years that I would have done that. Positively Broad, ever considered doing something like a tour of Underground Railroad stops? Okay, interesting. I grew up in Ohio, in Southern Ohio, right near the Underground Railroad. And one of the things I want to do is to go back to my home area in Brown County, Ohio, and do some of that kind of stuff, because I remember going to those places like on field trips as a kid. So certainly, yes. I'm not as familiar with some of those places in other parts of the country, although I did learn about them on US 50. And so, US 50 being in the middle of the country, you see a lot of that kind of stuff. So I think there'll be some of that stuff on the US 50 videos coming up a little bit. Some really historic places. I kept seeing Harriet Tubman pictures and murals, and so I went through some really cool towns and cities. So yeah, I definitely am interested in that, and hopefully when I go back home, I want to do some more of that kind of stuff. Julie asks, Julie Rose, the desolate back roads you explore, have you ever had to sleep in your car? She worries about me. If I had to sleep in my car, I'd be fine. I actually brought pillows and blankets on this trip if I needed to. No, I've never been stranded. I've gotten a couple flat tires, so I know how to change a flat tire. But no, I try to film and get done before dark most of the time, and even earlier if I can. So if something was to happen to a vehicle, I feel like I was early enough in the day that I could get somewhere. But yeah, haven't been stranded. Fortunately, haven't had to sleep in my car, but I would if I had to. I've certainly slept in a car before. Road trips with Yogi. Thank you for the shout out. Maybe you can send me that episode. I've watched your videos, Wisconsin videos, road trips with Yogi, and haven't watched all of them. I apologize, but yeah, if you send me which one, that'd be awesome. I'd love to see your death go round that you came across in Wisconsin. So I didn't find many up that way. Oh shoot. We are getting through them. We're slowly but surely. Thank you, Ryan, for sharing the Highway 50 videos. Peabody was fun, and I met that kid in the park in Peabody. William Haas, by some chance, where do you get your older road atlas? So those are, let's see. I don't know if I have one here. or in the car, I guess. But Delorme, Atlas, and Gazetteer. That's probably the most common question I get is where do you get your maps? So Delorme, Garmin sells those on their website, and sometimes you find them at Amazon. I usually get them through Garmin. Oh, I got one right here. Sorry, it's underneath my computer. There you go, because I'm working on Indiana stuff. So Delorme, and it says right there a Garmin product, and they're awesome. They're the best maps I could find for what I do. They're 20 to 30 bucks. Sometimes they're cheaper on Amazon if they're used, maybe. But they might be older on Amazon, and so I like to get the newest ones because they have the most ghost towns and little extras they're adding all the time. So love those. Like I said, that's the most common question I get. And so if anybody knows anybody with Garmin, I would certainly do a sponsorship with them. I have 0 sponsorships, so that would be the one thing that I would certainly promote because I use them all the time, every day. Okay, Mark asks, what channel is your track meet on this weekend? I think NBC. So it's the USA Championships. NBC has like the Olympics, and they like the USA Championships is like this is the qualifying meet for the World Track and Field Championships this summer or later this summer. And so NBC, and we have athletes in the 400-meter hurdles, in the 110-meter hurdles, and 2 guys. Those are 2 different guys, and then we have a girl in the high jump. So those are the events that we're competing in. Wichita State Shockers. Have you ever visited any of the U.S. territories? No. I watched some videos about that's from Joe Jr. A lot of Joes there. Have not visited any of the territories, but that would be cool. I'd love to. I just watched a video recently about all the different U.S. territories by Mr. Beat. Is that his name? I think he's a Kansas guy. He's got a history video. He did like a history channel. He did a video about all the territories. So yeah, that was cool that I learned about that. Ashley asked US 80. I would love to do US 80. Like I mentioned earlier, all those routes have so much cool history and so many cool towns. But maybe would love to someday. It'd have to be probably a lot of these like long road trips. If I don't do them in the summer or maybe in the winter, I just can't do them because I just can't get away from the coaching part. So if I'm ever done coaching someday, I'll have more time to do those. Thanks, Road Trips with Yogi again. Thank you, Eric. Yes, definitely want to get back to Missouri. Those Ozark areas, there's lots of great ghost towns there. Susan asked, does YouTube show you how many people hit subscribe while watching any given video? If so, do you know which videos have yielded the most subs? Okay. Awesome questions. There are tons of analytics on the side of YouTube, and it'll tell you what video, like how many people subscribe on each video. You can click on, it has like the overall statistics for YouTube, and then each video has its own analytics and statistics. And so you can find out all of that information. So yeah, and the 10 smallest towns videos always gain the most subscribers. And the most recent one that has been getting the most subscribers are the Dead Mall videos. I have a Dead Mall video about Muskogee, Oklahoma that is just kind of going somewhat viral. I think it'll be up to 300,000 views here pretty soon. And that video has, I think, gotten about 1,000 subscribers from that one video. And so that's a different audience that watches those videos, different people commenting. So I try not, I don't want that to be the whole channel, but it's interesting. It's kind of related to the abandoned places. And like I said, I have the one from Washington, D.C. that's gonna be really interesting coming up. But yeah, the 10 smallest towns videos are the ones that get the most subscribers. And so I wish I could do more of those. Unfortunately, those take a little while to film, but I love making those videos. Gabriel, when does school start back up? Yours starts Wednesday. So obviously we have a youngster here. I would say most people in the crowd are my age or in the vicinity. We start school in like 3 weeks or 4 weeks, I think, maybe 4 weeks. So mid to end of August. So your start, that's early starting on Wednesday. Wow. Hello. Let's see. Bradley says hello from Ottumwa, Iowa. I probably butchered that one. Ottumwa. Yogi says I need to check out more of Wisconsin. I really do. I did when I was up there. I did a small town downtown video, kind of like Canada. Some of the places I went on this trip, it was like a scouting expedition for future trips. And so, like with Wisconsin, I had only one day. I actually was in Michigan, the Upper Peninsula, and I was driving over to Minnesota to stay with some friends. And I only had one day in Wisconsin. So I went like in the northern part of Wisconsin, and I wanted to go to just check out as many little towns as I can. So I did a 10 small town downtown video. So that's the one video I did there, but they were awesome. Like every town I went to was cool up in northern Wisconsin. So I certainly want to go back. Loved it up there. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you guys who just popped in and said hi. This video, by the way, is going to be our Tuesday video this week. I'm not going to release another video tomorrow. I just feel like it's like too much of me. So, you know, we do videos on Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, and then members have another video on the weekend. And so if you're a $5 or more member, so you get an extra video on the weekend. So this is the Tuesday video. Thursday is going to be Centralia, Pennsylvania. Sunday will be the second part of Indiana on US 50. That's what's coming up. Oh, somebody's talking about a state. So I'm clicking my mouse. So sorry if that's making a annoying noise. I'll try to use the mouse. I'm clicking the button on the keyboard. So I'll try to be quieter with my clicking. First time doing this. I'm learning. Drive up Pikes Peak, Colorado. Yes, that would be awesome. And yet, that's from Michael Baker. What about a drive up Pikes Peak, Colorado? Absolutely. Drive, yes. Hike, no. Bill Bradley, do you know Dubuque is the oldest state in Iowa? I did know that because I went to Dubuque and made a video about the train that goes like the world's shortest train. And I think I don't know if I put that in the video, but I remember learning about Dubuque when I was there. Vegas Walking, come visit Nevada Jarbidge, the most remote town in the U.S. Yes, I've watched videos about Jarbidge and would love to go there. Nevada is awesome. I did a few videos when I did US 50 previously in the middle of the state. Fascinating area. Would love to go there. Clint said, any plans to revisit Pitcher? Yes and no, but what I mean is anytime I'm in that area of Pitcher, Oklahoma, which for those of you that don't know, Pitcher was this amazing ghost town. Mining contamination happened. They had like 15,000 people. They got rid of everybody. There's no one that lives there anymore. And it was one of the first videos I ever did, and kind of started my love of the ghost towns was Pitcher. And so, Clint, to answer your question, yes, I want to go back. I don't know if I can make another video unless it's different. But yeah, anytime I'm in that area, I want to visit Pitcher, Oklahoma. I love visiting Pitcher. It's just an amazing place if you've never been there. Amazing in, you know, the things that we like. A lot of people in this channel like. Standard Traveler, worst merry-go-round to date. I think I gave like a 3, but man, they all cloud together in my brain, so I'm not sure. Not sure where it was. I mean, it's just going to be something that doesn't spin very well. If it spins, it's going to have a rating of at least 6 or 7. So it's something that just didn't spin. But even if they don't spin, if they're cool looking, I'm going to give them a pretty good rating. But I don't remember. I'd have to go through the archives. So maybe somebody could create that video, go back and watch, because that'd be a lot of work. Disasters effect, yes, I agree. Council Grove and the Flint Hills would be awesome. Every time I click on this, it just scrolls past a whole bunch of stuff, so I got to keep going back up. Come back to Guthrie, Oklahoma. Well, when I go back for to the Panhandle, to Beaver, yeah, I'll be in the vicinity of Guthrie. Colton is trying to get me a DJI sponsorship. Colton, I will give you definitely a finder's fee for that. Thank you, Terry Meadows. I really appreciate the nice words. Barbara mentions about some old petroglyphs in Washington State Park in Missouri. As somebody else mentioned that too. So I gotta go to Washington State Park in Missouri. Susan says we should sell sunglasses in the merch store. Not a bad idea, I guess. I could buy them myself because I break them all the time. That's why I get the cheap ones. Wichita Clem Bartlett, Arbitor, Arbiton, and Belle Plaine, Kansas is beautiful. Sorry, I'm almost talking to myself. Sounds good. Belle Plaine is not far from Wichita. That would be a pretty good one. Don't call me Shirley. Okay. I won't. Renegade. Got the airplane reference. They got the new Naked Gun movie coming out. What does everybody think about Naked Gun, a sequel without Leslie Nielsen? I'm not sure. I saw 2 movies I saw recently that were interesting. Well, one was just great, F1. I saw the F1 movie with Brad Pitt. Highly recommended, even if you're not a racing person. But then I went and saw Eddington. Has anybody seen Eddington with Joaquin Phoenix and Emma Stone? And strange movie, but it was filmed in Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, which is like a town that I would love to visit. And it's a crazy movie. It's kind of like in some ways, a normal drama action movie. Then it goes off the rails, but I liked it. I don't know if you might ever saw those movies. Wichita Clem misses the green highlighter. Yeah, I've been using the orange highlighter lately, so maybe I'll have to go back to the green. Okay. I feel like I'm getting kind of catching up here. Okay. Ryan's talking about liking the video, how I had to coordinate the track meet at the same time, like doing the track coaching job, but also running off the meet. Yeah, he has some experience with stuff like that. Kurt edited that video. Really was great of him to put that together the way he did. And if anybody, I don't know if Fish Lake Project is still here or Cody, but anybody's worked that meet, it's such a difficult week, so tiring, and yeah, it's. I needed to document it one time, and so I'm glad I was able to document it. Tom asked about the eastern part of Illinois. Definitely, I think I mentioned that earlier, so certainly would want to get back out there. Eric's, yeah, Washington State Park in Missouri. Gotcha. We'll make sure we get out there at some point. Positively asked, any aspiration of becoming a head coach, Cleveland level? You know, that used to be something that was without a doubt an aspiration. It's not anymore. We could get into a whole side conversation about college athletics. And I'm enjoying doing what I'm doing. So yeah, so and it gives me the opportunity to do this, and so this is a big part of my life now too. So I'm able to do both, and that's really awesome. Jeff asked, did you visit the Ontonagon Historical Museum in the UP? I did not. That the UP, I was basically did like a little road trip and didn't have time to stop in museums, but I went to a bunch of towns. There were so many museums on this trip that I didn't go to. Man, I really wanted to. But yeah, I didn't go to that museum, unfortunately. Thank you, Eric. If I need a place to stay. Drive up no-go in northwest California. Highway literally stops in the forest in the middle of nowhere. That sounds interesting. Sounds like something Steve from Sidetrack Adventures would be interested in, because he's also a big California guy, and he's been a good friend of mine on YouTube. If you don't watch Steve from Sidetrack Adventures, you should. Redwoods. I did watch the Happy Gilmore movie. Actually, when I was in Minnesota staying with my buddy Cole, it was he had Netflix. I don't have Netflix. So we watched Happy Gilmore 2. It was the first night it came out. I would give it a thumbs up. I know some people are kind of hating on it, but no, I had fun. If you like the first one, you'd like that one. We had a lot of fun watching it. What is a souvenir other than a T-shirt you buy in your ventures? I don't buy much, but speaking of that, um, so I get postcards for the executive producers. So I have a whole stack of postcards. But if y'all are interested, I can show you the T-shirts I bought on this trip. So here you go. Some are dirty because I haven't done the laundry. So I went to. So I shouldn't have said I only did one video of Pennsylvania because I did film another video of Pennsylvania, although I'm not sure I was going to release it. I was driving through PA and was going through Scranton, Pennsylvania. And I don't know if you're aware, if you watch the TV show The Office, it's set in Scranton, Pennsylvania. So I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm driving through Scranton. I've never been to Scranton. And I noticed they had a Poor Richard's Pub in Scranton, which in the TV show, they that's where they go and that's where they hang out after work sometimes. So I went to Poor Richard's Pub. And so when I got there, I'm like, maybe I should make a video about this. And so I filmed a little bit of it. And then I went to Cooper's, which is the other place they mentioned in the show. And they had a gift shop there. So I bought a t-shirt. So this is totally, if you don't watch The Office, you don't understand this. But so I actually wore this yesterday and I forgot that I was wearing it. And I had at least 10 people comment about the shirt. So I thought that was funny. Shout out to Dwight Schrute. Also in Pennsylvania, I got this cool little hoodie. This was where I rode the mining. I did the mining tour, went down in the mine. So Ashland, Pennsylvania. I got a little long sleeve T-shirt. That was cool. Funny shirts. This is in. So if anybody watched the Dead Mall video I did in Cincinnati with my brother and my nephew, we went to Jungle Gems after. Pez. I love Pez. I had a ton of Pez dispensers growing up, and this I just thought this was funny. Yeah. So that's from Jungle Gems. I got a T-shirt from the easternmost. This is all wrinkly because I wore it. The easternmost town in Maine, well, in the United States, Lubec, Maine. This was an awesome little town, man. I filmed all day there, and I can't wait to put that together. And then I just got this one yesterday, and this is a Potawatomi tribe shirt. It was in a little museum in Pipestone, Minnesota, and I just popped in there, and I got a postcard and T-shirt. So yeah, there you go, a little show and tell. Okay, we've been going for an hour. Looks like we're getting close to the end of the comments here. But yeah, William, just to answer your, I really don't buy other things. When I came back over the border from Canada, the guy asked me, what did you bring back? And I go, nothing. Like I literally didn't buy anything there. So, okay. Eric mentioned Times Beach, Missouri. Yeah, that's a really interesting place. Did a video about Times Beach. Really interesting story about that. Eric is the #1 commenter. Like ranks the commenters in here. Good morning to Peter from Victoria, Australia. Wow. Welcome, Peter. Wichita, Clem, Sundays in the late 50s, early 60s. My dad took my sister and I through small towns outside Wichita. Always stopped at schools, check out playgrounds. Best swings in Whitewater. Yeah, that was in a video I did recently. Susan, NASCAR museum question. Do the simulators do an accurate job of capturing the way an actual NASCAR engine sounds? I've never been one or been around one. I'm not sure because I've never been inside a NASCAR. I've been to NASCAR races, and those things, man, they hum, man. But I'd say pretty good. The NASCAR simulators is actually the game iRacing. So if you've ever done iRacing, that's where the NASCAR simulators are, or that's where they what they use. And they're very realistic in their sounds and the track and everything. So I think they do a pretty good job. You just can't ever exactly simulate what it feels like, but that was fun. That was a fun time to go check out that museum. Ryan asked about doing a video about Hastings, Nebraska. So Hastings was a small part of a video that I did about the Oregon Trail. I stayed the night in Hastings, and I think I put the Kool-Aid, like the thing from, or the office, in that video. So it's not a video like a whole long video about Hastings, but it was probably a minute. Thank you, Papa Bear, for joining. John asked, if we know beforehand that you're coming to an area where we're at, how we contact you to give you some info or stories you might find helpful. Good question. I think so. It's really tough because I don't do a ton of. Sometimes I'll just do like a random video. Like it'll be a Friday, and I decide that day I'm going to go out to Western Kansas, and I'll be there for the weekend because I'm busy during the week doing other stuff. This trip, I kind of planned. I did a video about this trip, so I tried to do my best to, do that. I don't know. I just haven't thought about trying to communicate exactly where I'm going on what days because it changes. Like, honestly, the last 3 or 4 days of this trip changed dramatically. So I would have hated for that to plan something like that and then it not happen. So I don't know. I try my best to do some stuff on Instagram, like on the stories. That's where I'm at on that day. So if you were following me today, you just saw I started in South Dakota. And but yeah, but I appreciate people that send me suggestions, and I've used some of those on this trip. That's great. The Kool-Aid Festival is in August. That would be a fun festival in Hastings, Nebraska. Christian says, thank you for the nice comment. Hope to see you take a deeper dive into New Mexico. Yes, I really want to. I did the video where it's kind of down around the border, and I went to Taos. I did some stuff around Taos. But yeah, there's lots of New Mexico that I can't wait to explore. It's certainly on my to-do list of the 10 smallest towns video. So I love going down to New Mexico. John says, I imagine you've been to all the counties of Kansas. Any other states, if you keep track? I've been to all the states. So I have been to all the 50 states. I haven't kept track of if I've been to all the counties of Kansas. So I don't know. But certainly I want to. I want to document all of them at some point. That'd be fun. Thank you, Wichita Clem. Ashley said, when's the next members only Zoom? Let's do that, yeah, in the next month or something like that. Since I'm going to be in Wichita, we'll plan on one of those. I'll schedule one of those for like the next month. Colton, Roswell, New Mexico, find the aliens. I am caught up. I've caught up to all the questions. So if you've got any other questions, I mean, we've been going an hour and 12. I feel like that's a good amount of time. And we kind of got caught up. So what else could I mention? I don't know. I think I'm looking around at stuff that I've got sitting here. Like I said, I had some cool postcards that I put right here. So if you're an executive producer, just a little shout out, a little promo. If you're an executive producer, besides like a video, an extra video a week, I send postcards every once in a while. I try to do one a month. It doesn't always work out that way. But like I got some postcards from the trip. Like this is Washington, Virginia, or Winchester, Virginia. Sorry about that. There was a bunch of stuff from Winchester, so I got a bunch. So you might be getting, and I'm having trouble figuring out which way to point it. Several of those. This is from the easternmost point of the United States up in Maine. I went there, so there'll be a video about that. This is where I got the T-shirt, the Potawatomi T-shirt, Pipestone, Minnesota. That's the world's largest peace pipe. Yes, that'll be in a video. And of course, I got this postcard. But I got that for me. I don't know if I'll be sending that one. And I got some other ones so yeah, if you're executive producer, you get postcards. And if you're a producer, you get extra videos. And if you're a $1 subscriber, you get a video one video a month. But next Tuesday, I'm actually every 20 member videos, I do one and just put it public. So next Tuesday is going to be the 60th member video. So next Tuesday will be a free member video. So if you're interested in the whole memberships behind the channel, you can see what one of those videos are like. They're more me just kind of talking about where I'm at, what I'm doing, what videos are coming up, some of the behind the scenes kind of stuff on the channel. See if there's any other questions here before we wrap up. Disastrous effect. Yeah, West Virginia is awesome. Definitely want to go back and do more stuff in West Virginia. Where flyers? Would you consider a post office box for non-digital membership? Yes, I do have a PO box. So in the more recent videos, if you look in the description of the video, I have a PO box. So if you want to, yeah, you can send something in the PO box. I have had people send like some shirts, postcards. I've gotten postcards from people. But yeah, check the description of the video of like the last video I put out. I've had it for, I don't know, a month or so. So yeah, there's a PO box down there. That'd be cool. Thank you. Ryan asks, explain the producer situation. So that's I think, I don't know if I answered your question before, but yeah, if you want to be a member, there's 3 levels, $1. Basically what it is, it gets you 1 extra video a month. There's some other stuff on the Patreon like that, but you can either Patreon or YouTube memberships. It's the same. $5 membership is a new video every week. That's just like a behind the scenes video. And then the $10 one is that plus postcards. Basically, there's some other stuff too. We'll do like a Zoom call. Ashley asked about that. So just like a Zoom call with just the $5 and up members, we do that every once in a while. I've done a couple of those. I've not picked the right night to do it because I haven't gotten too many people for that, but we'll keep doing them. How's your father? That's a good name. Just finished watching your review of hotels during, that would have been through the Christmas break when I did that video. Victor, Colorado. It sounds familiar. Victor, Colorado sounds familiar, but I can't remember it off the top of my head. So Lou loves Oklahoma stuff. I do too. Thank you, Lou. I'll definitely be doing more Oklahoma stuff. Jerry, my first ever live stream view. Hey, thank you for tuning. My first time too. Hopefully this wasn't so boring. It seems weird, but I can't believe so many people came in. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Greg, and thank you, Ryan. Okay, so I think that's where we'll end. About 75 minutes, and we'll do this again. Maybe so. The whole point of this was to do it when I got to 50,000 subscribers, and that was the goal. Like get to 50,000 subscribers. So maybe every 10 or so thousand subscribers, maybe we'll do this. So we're up to, I think, 53,000. It's been a really good month. So a lot of new members, and I appreciate that. So thank you. So many comments. I really appreciate everybody that came in. You guys are awesome, and I never expected this many people to comment. So thank you, William. I'm gonna have a great track meet in Oregon. So if you live in Oregon, come out to Eugene, Oregon. I'll be there next week. So thank you all. And like I said, Thursday, look for a video about Centralia, Pennsylvania, and on Sunday, the US 50, adventure continues through the end of Indiana, and that video ends in Cincinnati. Basically, that's where you cross over, right near Cincinnati, where I grew up. So thank you again, and I will see all y'all down a back road.